Well, that seems to have been an abrupt end to that song. Good afternoon. Welcome to the tavern. I'm your host, Mr. Zed, and today we're going to be going over the Medal of Honor winner, Rear Admiral Eugene B. Fluckey. Got a great story for you today with this Medal of Honor recipient. World War II, and I don't want to give too much away with it. However, as you can tell from the title, he's a sub commander that sunk a train. All right, so let's get into this. And the first thing that we're going to go over is some of our notable news. Notable news of the day. Let's see here. I think we got our center screen going on right now. Hey, hey, hey. All right. So some of the notable news this past week. In the Cayman Islands, they're going to cull the feral cats in order to protect brown boobies. Now, for some of you children out there, these are birds. Over in Hawaii, you got blue-footed boobies, and there's a whole slew of boobies running around this place. Over in the Cayman Islands, they've got these brown boobies, and the feral cats that they've got down that way, they happen to be getting rid of all the brown boobies. So, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be taking some of these feral cats and getting rid of them. The problem that you're going to have with getting rid of all the feral cats is going to be that you have a possible uptick in stuff to the nature of like the plague. If you get rid of the cats, mice become more prominent, and so on. Fleas that attach themselves to the rats and the mice, those are the ones that carry stuff like the plague. So down in the Cayman Islands, they're going to have a little bit of an issue making sure that they control that appropriately. If you take too many of the cats out of the picture, you might be saving the brown boobies. However, you could end up with bigger issues. All right, the next thing that we've got here is Robbie Knievel, Evel Knievel's son. He passed away this week at the age of, I believe it was 60. He was battling pancreatic cancer. Now, one of the things that he was most famous for is he actually was able to go across the Grand Canyon in one of his stunts. Some of the fountains in Las Vegas, and he also did a lot of stuff that his dad did as well. It's kind of sad to see this guy go. He had a lot of great, extraordinary talents, stunt and driving, stuff to that nature. He was actually pretty cool to see, so we ended up losing him. And sticking with that trend, we have an ad. This is great. No, I don't want to join your mailer, AP News. All right, Lisa Marie Presley. She died after, at the age of 54, hospitalization. This is Elvis Presley's daughter. And a few years back, her son passed away. Anyway, she was in the hospital recently, and she ended up passing away. I believe it was Thursday evening, Thursday afternoon. She was 54, and the daughter of Priscilla and Elvis. So she had some decent music. If you were into that type of genre of music, nothing like her dad. I mean, she did have a good voice, but she was nothing like her father. So the reason this one right here pulls at a heartstring for me is because my grandmother and my grandfather listened to Elvis quite a bit, and they just recently passed away within the past year. So, kind of brings up old memories of them. But yeah, she passed away a couple of days ago, and hopefully she's in a better place now with her dad and her son. Another thing that we've got recently is tornadoes. This past couple of days we had some pretty good tornadoes down here in the southeast, And this right here, this picture here, let me get my mug off of the screen here so you guys can take a better look at it. This picture here is of Selma, Alabama, and that tornado did a pretty good job on that. That tornado came through and destroyed a bunch of stuff. And there were several tornadoes in Alabama, I want to say Mississippi as well, and in Georgia. So those that live in Georgia, they had pretty good storms coming through there. I want to say hi to Crystal, Katie Zed, you two are in the chat, as far as I can tell. Alright, moving on. We got our center camera here. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to be talking about here is we're going to be going into our Second Amendment segment here. And one of the deals that us military types really get into is gun safety and stuff like that. And I thought it would be a great idea to kind of go over some of those safety rules on each one of our 2A segments here. So the weapon safety rules: treat every weapon as if it's loaded. That's number one. Okay? No matter what you do, you pick up a weapon, you assume it is loaded. Number two, never point a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. You pick up a weapon and you point it, it better be at something that you intend to shoot. So don't ever point a weapon at any person, any animal, or anything of the sort. Number three, keep your trigger straight and off the trigger until you are ready to fire. Listen here, people. That booger hook, keep it off the trigger. If it's anywhere near that trigger, that gun can go off. Number four, keep the weapon on safe until you intend to fire. Keep the weapon on safe until you intend to fire. I don't know how else to express that. If you pick up a weapon, you need to know if that weapon is in a safe mode, if it's in ready to fire mode. You need to be checking that out immediately. The last thing you want to do is pick up something that you're not familiar with, turn around and accidentally shoot someone, or put a hole in your wall, in your ceiling, or whatnot. So if you do not understand those weapons, leave it where it sits. Yeah, yes, Katie. Booger hook off the boom boom stick. Exactly. Alright, so having said these rules here, I'm going to show you a quick little video of someone that had an accidental discharge. Now, he's in a safe, controlled environment. He's at a range. The thing is he knew exactly what he was doing in order to make sure that nobody around him was ever in danger. Alright, so as you can see here, they're in a range environment. We're looking at this guy right here in the front that's got this stance right here on this green line. You see everyone else is behind him. Okay, no one's sitting in front of him. The camera that you are looking at this through is sitting on a tripod of sorts. And here we go. Let's again take me off of here so you get the whole picture. And alright, so what you're seeing here, these are called holster drills. So he's got the pistol in the holster, he comes out, he points at the target, he engages the target. Now if you look, okay, he's shooting right-handed, but he does not have his finger on that trigger at all. Okay, he's got his thumb out here bracing it, but he's not got his finger on the trigger. So I don't know if you caught that, let's go back just a little bit. You can see that area right here, no finger on the trigger, okay? And what he's doing is he's just mimicking, you know, the targets that are in front of him. So again, he didn't even have a magazine inside the pistol. So here we go.
Wow!
Alright. That is an accidental discharge. Right there. We're going to back that up just a touch and show that one more time.
Wow! Wow!
So what he did was he insert a magazine into that pistol. As he racked it, which is what you need to do in order to get the round into the actual firing chamber, that is when the pistol went off. What that tells me is he's got a firing pin that was stuck in the forward position, and when that slide went home, it hit the primer and sent that round down range. Now, as you can see, that pistol is still pointing down range. This is exactly what needs to be done. So if you ever go shooting with anyone, whether you're at a range or you're out in an outdoor range or something, always make sure that anyone and everyone is behind you and your targets are in front of you, and you never point at anything else that's sitting right there. So we're going to watch this.
Go ahead and unload. Show clear. I got it. If clear, slide forward, hammer down, and holster. Range is safe!
I think I might have had the hammer fall.
Yeah, that...
So as you can see, he immediately identified what the problem was be. The instructor was also very calm, collected. The shooter actually listened to every little detail that this instructor told him to do as far as clearing the weapon, securing it, and the likes. So this is exactly what needs to be done. There's too many times that people freak out when there's an accidental discharge and they start pointing the weapon left, right, top, down, and end up what's called flagging somebody else, which means that you take the barrel and you put somebody in front of that barrel when it should be facing downrange. So yeah, keep this in mind. And again, we go back to the 4 safety rules here. Okay, treat every weapon as if it was loaded. Never point a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you are ready to fire. Keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire. And that is exactly what this gentleman did here.
That was not your finger in the trigger. We have it on video, which is awesome too. So...
Alright, so as he said there, finger was not in the trigger, and they had it on video, which is also a good point for him. Alright, we're going to be moving on to here. We're going to be moving to my Zed's Heroes of the Week. Now, again, I like to do this. I like to showcase ordinary citizens. I like to showcase, you know, police, firemen, as well as, you know, military. I usually go with the military for, you know, the Medal of Honor, whatnot. But this week, we're going to go with some local heroes here. Okay? These two fine individuals that you see on your screen here, husband and wife combo, they tried to rob a gas station. She was out in her vehicle, and this guy went in and he had pantyhose across his head. Couple of local shoppers of this gas station happened to be armed, and he went in and started going after the clerk, and this is actually in Georgia, okay, just north of Atlanta, in a place called Ellijay. One of the customers quickly saw what was going on, pulled a pistol, and got the attention of the guy that had pantyhose over his head. In doing so, the guy that had the pistol um, started questioning all of his life choices. One of the other customers saw what was going on, went outside to his vehicle, grabbed his pistol, came inside to render aid. At that time, another customer that was actually pumping gas sees what's going on, grabs his firearm, and goes inside. The original customer that got the attention of this would-be robber made sure that the assailant dropped his weapon and instructed the other two that came to render help and aid not to fire on him because he was no longer armed and no longer a threat. The police were called, and when the police showed up, they took the pantyhose wearing man into custody and quickly realized that his wife was still sitting in the car and grabbed her as well. Nobody got hurt, nobody got robbed, and two would-be bad people ended up off the streets. So just remember, ladies and gentlemen, especially near a place that has a right to carry, that you don't know who is going to be carrying next to you. And if you're going to commit a crime, think twice. Let's see here. Yeah, I like this one here. Veteran destroys bad guy armed with a knife at South Carolina Walmart. This is not the bad guy or the veteran. This is just a cute little panda. Alright, so at this Walmart in South Carolina, you got this guy that has a knife and he starts causing all sorts of hell. And I'll just play this video right quick for you. Let's see if we, I want to make sure it's not too loud.
I one hit a quitter. I'm talking about a clean scoop. Oh, this he doing Dave Chappelle.
Alright, so the guy in the red jacket here, he's got that knife, okay? And he's threatening customers and whatnot. I'm going to back this up just a little bit and play it. Keep an eye on that guy in that white hoodie in the back. So now we have buffering issues. I tried to find this on YouTube and I was unable to locate it, so I'm trying to play it off this Twitter here. Wow. So I'm going to assume that Katie's upstairs messing around with some electronics and causing me some technical difficulties here. So anyway, this gentleman here in this black, or not black, this white hoodie here, grabs this stand over this way, and while this guy's back is turned, and he's not paying attention to him, wallops him pretty good. And here's a picture of him walling up him. Oh, let's see if we got this up here now. Nope, it doesn't want to play. Anyway, this gentleman here, this veteran, didn't even think twice about it. He just came in, did exactly what needed to be done. And yeah, his name was Mr. Davis, so we can actually, Demario Davis. We can actually thank him for his help in taking a bad guy off the street. The police did come in after the fact and Here we go.
One hit a quitter. I'm talking about clean scoop ball his ass. Oh! Oh, this he doing Dave Chappelle. Oh!
And drops the knife. He ain't going nowhere.
Oh shit!
And they just hold on to him until the cops get there and take him away. So again, Demario Davis, thank you. If you don't get the recognition that you deserve, you're getting it here. Alright, now this one here is hilarious. And the reason I say it's hilarious is because two married off-duty cops go to this little restaurant for date night. Okay? They're sitting there in this pretty much empty restaurant, just minding their own business, and they look up, and this guy's robbing the little restaurant. And it tips them off because they see one of the workers raise their hands up in the air. So here we go.
It took an interesting turn for two Kentucky police officers after the husband and wife spotted a man with a mask walk up to the counter of the Raising Cane's they were eating at in Elizabethtown. You can see them here in the video look at each other for a second, pull out their guns, and then move toward the masked man. The video shows that masked man then runs out of the restaurant. The couple caught up with him a few blocks away and held him at gunpoint until police arrived. Chase and Nicole McCowan have been married for 6 months. Chase says in the moments before they acted, they looked at each other and said, "Is this what's going on? Okay, let's go."
So this is a husband and wife duo. And
in Cane's they were eating at in Elizabethtown.
You can see right here, they look over and they're like, this is not happening. And then in true fashion, exactly where they're supposed to, they had each other's backs. He takes lead. She comes off to the side over this way, off to the right of the screen, and she's, utilizing cover, not allowing anyone to get in a crossfire situation, and just perfect. This is exactly the situation where these two knew exactly what to do, and they may not work together, but when you train the same way, day in and day out, you don't have to always work together to do something like this. And both of them, they should be very proud of the fact that they got this guy and no one got hurt in the little restaurant. Alright, moving on. We're going to go into our Medal of Honor segment. This segment here is kind of an interesting one. I like it. I got Katie over here telling me something about volume. Is it too high, too low? What's going on? I know there's a delay, but she's not talking about anything. Let's see. Nope, still nothing. Alright, I'm going to keep going. Right now we've got the Medal of Honor segment here. And today's Medal of Honor is going to be Eugene Bennett Fluckey. Alright, so Eugene Fluckey he just recently passed away. He passed away in 2007. Very, very interesting fella. Okay, he was a commander. His highest rank at the time of his Medal of Honor, he was a commander. His highest rank was Rear Admiral. The conflict he was in was World War II. And I'm going to read you his citation here because his citation is very good, but it doesn't do justice for all of it. And I want to read a citation so I don't forget, because as I get into some of this other stuff, I'll forget to come back to it. Real quick though, he was presented the Medal of Honor in March of 1945. He was born in 1913, and he died in 2007. So he lived up to be almost 100 years old. So this is a gentleman that I would have loved to have actually come in and spoke with in person, just to get, some ideas and some insight of what World War II was like. Anyway, back to a citation. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, as commanding officer of the USS Barb during her 11th war patrol along the east coast of China from 19 December 1944 to 15 February 1945. After sinking a large enemy ammunition ship and damaging additional tonnage during a running 2-hour night battle on 8 January, Commander Fluckey, in an exceptional feat of brilliant dedication and bold tracking on 25 January, located a concentration of more than 30 enemy ships in the lower reaches of Nankun Shang in the Mamquan Harbor, fully aware that a safe retirement would necessitate an hour's run at full speed through the uncharted, mined, and rock-obstructed waters. He bravely ordered, "Battle station, damn the torpedoes." In a daring penetration of the heavy enemy screen, and riding in 5 fathoms of water, he launched the Barb's last forward torpedoes at 3,000-yard range. Quickly bringing the ship's stern tubes to bear, he turned loose 4 more torpedoes into the enemy, obtaining 8 direct hits on 6 of the main targets to explode a large ammunition ship and cause inestimable damage by the resulting flying shells and other pyrotechnics. Clearing the treacherous area at high speed, he brought the Barb through to safety, and 4 days later sank a large Japanese freighter to complete a record of heroic combat achievement, reflecting the highest credit upon Commander Fluckey, his gallant officers and men, and the U.S. Naval Service. And I want to tell you that this gentleman here was awarded the Medal of Honor, and then requested to go back into battle. He was a commander. He had done stuff that no one has been able to do, and then went back into battle after receiving the Medal of Honor. And I want to read you just a little bit about this guy. After completing a patrol aboard the USS Barb as its executive officer, Eugene Fluckey took command of the submarine in April of '44. So this is right before he got the Medal of Honor. Considered to be one of the most aggressive and innovative officers in the submarine force, Commander Fluckey was a strong believer in using his submarine speed advantage while surfaced. His frequently uttered motto was, "We don't have problems, just solutions." While Fluckey and the Barb would have many successful and memorable patrols, it was the sub's 11th patrol that would bring it lasting fame. Slipping away from Midway Island in December 19th of '44, Barb would patrol with 2 other submarines off the China coast. On January 1, 1945, Fluckey attacked and sank the Shinoi Mora and Sanyoi Mara in the Formosa Strait. Resurfacing after the first attack, Barb found a new target and sent 3 torpedoes in the side of a large passenger ship, which set off a spectacular explosion. As reported by Fluckey, the Sanyoi Mora's explosion could be felt 4,000 yards away as shrapnel from the doomed ship poured down out of the sky. With enemy ships now seeking shelter in ports along China's coast, Commander Fluckey made the decision to silently penetrate Namquan Harbor. In the murky pre-dawn, the Barb maneuvered into the harbor and around several patrolling warships on January 23, 1945. With barely enough water underneath to keep it afloat, Fluckey sent a torpedo, or a spread of 10 torpedoes, into a concentration of 30 Japanese ships. Fluckey believed that he achieved 8 hits and that 3 ships sank and another 3 were damaged. As smoke and fire billowed out of its targets, Fluckey used his sub's radar to navigate by dangerous shoals and around Chinese junks as he sought to make his exit, with a Japanese destroyer lobbing shells at the speeding sub. Lucky Fluckey reached the 20-fathom line and submerged. The galloping ghost of the China coast had escaped after delivering one of the most daring submarine attacks of the war. After returning to Pearl Harbor, the men of the USS Barb would earn a Presidential Unit Citation and Commander Fluckey would receive the Medal of Honor. Fluckey would make one more patrol aboard the Barb, one in which he employed rocket launchers that had been affixed to the deck of the submarine against the Japanese-held towns along the Sea of Okhotsk. He took rocket launchers and affixed them to the sub and attacked towns with a sub. And it gets better. On the evening of July 22nd to the 23rd, men from the USS Barb rowed ashore in Japan and planted explosives along a train track that subsequently destroyed a Japanese train. This is why, along with all of Barb's most conventional victories and its Medal of Honor ribbon, that you will find a train on its battle flag. Now I need to back up and tell you a little bit of history right here, okay? Fluckey told his men, because they were sitting off the coast and they could see this train, which was bringing supplies into the area, he told his men, I have a plan, and we're going to go do this. And his men were like, okay, what's the plan? And he told them that they were going to blow up a train. And they went, and how do you propose we do this? And he goes, well, this is what's going to happen. We're going to go up there. We're going to dig. We're going to plant explosives around the tracks. And when the train gets on top, we're going to blow it. And the men were like, this is awesome. He goes, okay, who's coming with me? The men looked at him and went, no, sir. That's not how this is going to go. And he goes, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I myself wouldn't do. And they went, no, sir. You are not going. You are a Medal of Honor winner. And if something happens, it'll be our ass. If we're going to do this, you're staying on the boat, and we're going to go out and do it, or we're not doing it at all. And after a long, arduous battle with his men, he finally gave in, and they went out and destroyed a train. A sub went out and destroyed a train. And when you look at their battle flag here, you'll see down here on the bottom the train. They are the only sub with a battle flag that's got a train. So this is why this is one of my most favorite stories of all when it comes to Medal of Honor winners. We had a sub commander that not only got the Medal of Honor, but went back into battle, and his men had to keep him from getting into harm's way. Oh, and one more thing in regards to this. Commander Fluckey, Rear Admiral Fluckey, never had one of his men injured in battle. None died. Commander Fluckey, Rear Admiral Fluckey, thank you. You deserve it. That's some good stuff. Alright, moving into something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Suicide prevention. Suicide prevention. It's never the way to go. Never, ever the way to go. There's always help out there. Please take a minute, think about it, and try and get some help. There's a lifeline for you guys. 988lifeline.org. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-8255. Or they have a new number, 988. Just like dialing 911, you can dial 988 and it will immediately hook you up with the Suicide and Crisis Hotline. Veterans, dial 988 and please press 1. Family members, friends, veterans, first responders, whether they're cops, firemen, EMT, please reach out to your people. Try and talk with them. Seek help. I've had several of my friends, military and outside the military, first responders, that have taken their own lives. Please, please reach out. Like I've said in the last video, the numbers for, first responders, police, they're kind of, they're not all gathered like they do with the military, like with veterans. Veterans are nearly 22 a day committing suicide. There's help. Reach out and ask for it. Just reach out and ask for it. Please. Crystal asks, real quick, can you also text 988? I don't have an answer for that. That's a good question. I am going to look into that and see if there is that ability. I appreciate you bringing that up, because if there is, that's a lot of help. I don't know. I know that for a long time you could not text 911, and now in some places you can. But I don't know about the 988. I'll do a little research and find out. That's a very good question, and I appreciate that. Alright, moving into our FAFO, and if you don't know what that is the Fuck Around and Find Out segment. Now this one here is kind of neat, because as you can see, it's just a residential neighborhood, just like any neighborhood that we might live in. And what we've got going on here is, if you look up in the upper right hand corner, or excuse me, upper left hand corner, you see two gentlemen walking, and one of them lives in a house over here. He's walking his dog, lives in a house over here, and the other one is bugging him. And here we go. I'm going to play this out. And Crystal took a look, and Google says you can text 988. Okay, that's something to look into. I will definitely do that. Thank you. That's good for anyone that needs to reach out in such a fashion. Please, if you do need to reach out, go ahead and do that. All right, back to our FAFO segment. So, you got the guy, he's walking his dog. Dog's off leash. It's just kind of walking. These two are arguing. And there's some choice curse words going back and forth. Not a big deal, but I don't want to have the volume. And he's telling him, hey, look, your car's parked back there, buddy. Leave me alone. Go away. He's arguing, blah, blah, blah. He steps on the guy's property. Boom. Get away from me. Wrong thing. I'm going to tell you right now, the guy in the white shirt, did not get up for a while. And the other guy, on his way into the house, called the police. This is a situation where the guy in the white, right about here, should have said, you know what, I'm done following this guy. I've said enough, I've done enough, and went back to his car. Unfortunately, he decided enough wasn't enough. Fucked around for just a little bit too long. Should have taken this hint right here. Said, nope, I'm a dumbass. And decided that it was going to find out exactly what it is. And he got knocked the fuck out. Alright. Now we're going to move into our This Day in History segment. This is one of my most favorite segments of the day. Don't mind all that noise in the background. That was just me dropping shit. The reason that this is one of the most favorite segments of the day is I get to come in here and read a little bit out of this history book that was given to me by a good friend of mine. That book is called This Day in History. And that friend of mine is Stephen, and he got me this book. And most of you might know him as Stephen Ignoramus. Alright, so today, if you look at your calendar, it's going to be January 15th, 2023. So I'm looking at January 15th in history. Alright, in 1559, Elizabeth I is crowned Queen of England. So not this one that just passed away not too long ago. However, she did live a good long life, just like the one that just passed away. Following her coronation, she established the English Protestant Church, the forerunner to the Church of England, and made herself supreme governor of it. She ruled England and Ireland for the next 40 years. So, again, she lived a long, long life. During her reign, she oversaw the defeat of the Spanish Armada, and that was no small armada, and the rise of the English naval dominance. She imprisoned and executed her chief political rival, Mary, Queen of Scots. So there's a little bit of history there I looked into, but we don't have enough time for that right now. But that's kind of interesting, so please, if you're looking at some type of history, Mary, Queen of Scots is something to look into. That's actually kind of cool. Her long rule helped establish a British national identity and is often considered one of Britain's golden ages. So after she took over, Britain actually flourished. So, and this was right before all the BS happened with the colonies over in the U.S. and so on and so forth. 1870, on this day in history, January 15th, the donkey became a popular symbol of the Democratic Party. We're just going to leave that one there. I'm not going to go into any more details on that. This is not a political channel. But yeah, in 1870, on January 15th, is when the donkey became the symbol for the Democratic Party. In 1919, and this is kind of a cool one, the Great Molasses Flood hits Boston, Massachusetts. A 50-foot tall storage tank containing more than 2 million gallons of molasses suffered a catastrophic failure that sent a wave of molasses 25 feet high rushing through the streets of Boston's North End neighborhood at 35 miles an hour. A 25-foot tall wave of syrup, hot syrup, at 35 miles an hour, hauling ass down the street, right at you. 21 people were killed, and 150 were injured. Cars, trucks were washed into Boston Harbor by the wave of molasses, and a firehouse, office building, and the elevated railway were all severely damaged. The cleanup effort took several weeks. So to answer your question or your statement, Crystal, yes, it was sticky. And the harbor was stained brown by the molasses through the rest of the summer. Rescue workers and cleanup crews leaving the scene tracked molasses throughout the whole city, and residents were finding sticky residue months later. Yeah, apparently if you warm up syrup, it's a little faster than the cold stuff, Katie. All right, and this one right here, this one is for Katie actually. 1967. Katie, do you know what happened on January 15th, 1967? Your favorite football team, the NFL's Green Bay Packers, defeated the AFL's Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl I. And they did this 35-10 at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. So Katie, you have Super Bowl to be thanked for the Green Bay Packers winning the very first one against the Kansas City Chiefs. 2001, Wikipedia goes online on this date. So, a little bit of history there. I hope you enjoyed that. And we're going to end today's show. Oh, don't be such a poopy stick there, Katie. They were number one. They won the first game, or the first Super Bowl ever played. Where were your Bears at? All right. Thank you again for showing up. If you want to contact me, you can go to mrzmedia@gmail.com. Also, I'll be streaming on YouTube, Twitter, and DLive, and those right there are the links for that. If you want to give me a hero of the day, some type of actual, hey, look, this person did a great thing. Maybe it's local news and it's not national news, so it might take me a couple of months to find out. But if you got a hero of the day in your area and you want to share that, send me that news article. Send me that news clip. Send me that link at mrzmedia@gmail.com. I'll look into it and we'll get that on the show. And you didn't know you had a choice of what? Interesting. All right. I want to thank everyone for showing up today. I know today's stream was a little bit on the long side. I've got a new microphone here, so if you could not hear me, I apologize. I'm trying to get all of that technical stuff fixed. And if you heard me just fine, well, great. I appreciate that. That means I don't have a whole lot more work to do. Outside of that, I hope you all had a great and enjoyable day. And for this weekend, please stay safe. And this upcoming week, make it a good one. Also, real quick, Miss Katie, who's in the chat, is going to be, yes, you had a choice to show up. Just like I have a choice to show up to yours, which I'm promoting yours right now, which is, I believe today she's going to be doing Crime Land, and next week on Sunday, she's going to be doing Overruled. She's got a crime channel. Miss Katie's got a crime channel here, Katie Z. And what she does is she takes and does a breakdown on Overruled of large crimes. And then on Crime Land, she takes a bunch of little ones and she gives you her take on those as well. So, if you got any of those, please reach out to her on her channel. And she likes to have ideas for upcoming streams as well. And again, I want to say thank you. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everything that you guys do. Coming in here and watching me. I know I'm new to this and eventually I'll get better at it. And I just want to wish you all a very happy weekend. Thank you very much. and I want to say I apologize. Apparently, I am off key. Katie says it is the exact opposite. We have overruled today. And I guess we're gonna have Crime Land next week. So apparently, I don't listen to her as close as I thought I did, and she's gonna be able to record this and play it back to me on several different, well, whenever she feels like it. But yes, overruled today, and then next week we should have Crime Land. So please subscribe, share, and take a look at her channel. And again, have a great day.